o'clock. Call this UAC meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comments? Anybody? Anybody in the public wish to make a comment? They may do so now. No one comes forward. Consent agenda. I guess there's only one thing that we could
So
move
moved.
from the consent
Moved,
agenda.
yeah.
Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Okay. Move second.
Motion Barney, second Crevens. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. New business item number 1. Collins?
Good evening, Chairman, Commissioners. In 2017, we did a wastewater master plan. It was done by the HDR Engineering, and they identified or recommended the upgrade of the south lift station by adding a second pump capable of pumping 2,500 gallons per minute, and a construction of a holding basin or holding tank. This is due to certain times of the year we have excessive flows, and we are marginal, and right now it's undersized during those periods of time. We went ahead and did a RFP for to identify a consultant to do this project. The project is a $2.1 million project, and this business item is regarding the consultant is going to be doing the engineering for the facility. We have a PowerPoint presentation that is going to be presented by Jeff Lemire, and also have Scott Milholland. Yeah, if you have any questions after the presentation. Thank you. Guys here.
Okay, as Gon said, I'm here to talk about the self-lift station design contract. HDR did a master plan, outlined improvements required at the self-lift station. These improvements included pumps, a new wet well, a storage tank, electrical and backup power sources to run the improvements. These improvements will improve the overall wastewater system by controlling existing and future flows that impact not just this site, but the wastewater treatment plant and other pump stations within our system. This will help with delaying high flow volumes to the wastewater treatment plant during high flow times and help efficiencies through the different pump stations in the system. As you can see here, put together a little picture of the existing site, which includes 3 pumps, an inline grinder, a submersible mixer, the existing wet well, undersized generator, and the control and valve vault building. The existing pumps, there are 2 low flow pumps, and then there's only one what is considered a wet weather pump. And in this project, we will be upsizing that pump and looking at how many additional pumps we need in the facility to keep up with the high flow demands. Moving on to the next slide, we'll see that these improvements will affect the overall wastewater system. The appropriate pump sizing and numbers for reliability in the system will be installed as part of these improvements, which will allow us to operate pumps within their design curves to minimize run times here at this station and at Bull Creek Lift Station as it pumps up to the wastewater treatment plant. With construction of these improvements, updates, and the new flow meters, which will be installed, will allow us to accurately calculate what is coming into this system at this location. Installation of the tank will reduce and delay collection system and wastewater treatment plant upsizing. We are also looking at a long-term site plan for this site with the development that's being proposed on the other side of I-35. Our next slide shows a preliminary proposed site plan and layout in which we will finalize through the design period. Currently, you can see that the 1 million gallon glass fused storage tank is being proposed in between the existing wet well and the I-35 roadway. There will be a new wet well, pumps, generator, and we'll investigate if the current jib crane can be reused at the existing location, or if we need to modify its location or buy a new crane. So there are a lot of different moving parts in here that we're looking at. This slide here is just a rendering of what the proposed 1 million gallon tank could look like on the existing site. As you can see, it is proposed location that I just described. This will provide additional separation from any future development that might be across the road to the south.
Where is this location again? I'm sorry, I might have missed that.
Okay, so this is, the exact location is,
South of, east of Gardner Road and south of I-35, by the Nike school, will be east of Nike.
so if you're going down South Gardner Road and you turn left right before the RV dealership,
Right.
you turn left and it's like 2 blocks down the road.
Oh, okay. So it's on the east, or the east side of the highway.
Southeast, yeah.
Sorry, continue. Sorry, I just needed to get my bearings straight.
Yeah. Overall, this is the breakdown of the proposed design contract with Larkin. Currently, we are including a waterline extension design for the installation of a washdown system for the tank and wet wells. Currently, city crews take a water truck out to the site to provide water necessary to clean the existing equipment. This is also in Water 7's water boundary, so we have to discuss that with them as we're moving through the design period, which shouldn't really be an issue, but another step in the process and coordination. These numbers are approximately 8% of the construction estimate, which is a little bit lower than the industry standard for this type of design work, which is typically between 10 and 15% of the overall construction project. So those numbers are looking pretty good.
Okay, wait, sorry. Can we interject, or do we wait till the end?
We can do it either way.
Just so I lose my train of thought. I'm sorry about your train of thought, but you said it will cover proposed future designs across I-35.
There's
but
already
it's now 10% less than what we need currently.
So there's development going on that south side of I-35.
Correct.
Right now, there's one development that's proposing 70 to 80 homes in the first phase, and then total project is 314 lots. So we need to upsize this to help deal with that growth that is coming in the near future. It's already been platted and gone through approvals, so it's just waiting for groundbreaking. And this site is currently undersized. Now, I can't quite say if it's 10% undersized or whatnot, but we have had some overflows, and on high flow days, it's right at the top of the existing wet well, and that pump is running as fast as it can go.
So earlier you said it will cover the proposed designs of our future growth across the interstate.
Correct. We are realigning some of the pipe work for it to be expanded to the south even further. So that's just some additional pipe work that we're planning to incorporate that. If we build a future wastewater treatment plant to the south, we can take that flow then and redirect it to the south instead of having it go up to Kill Creek.
Okay, I have a future question, but I'll wait. I promise. This is the last interjection.
Is that whole south side Water One district?
For water, yes.
The new plat and all that, and the new development over there is all Water One?
That new plat at Tuscan Farms, God's worked with Water One, and we do have the water rights for that.
Okay, so we'll bill that?
Yes.
Actually, Water 7.
Yeah, water
Yeah,
seven.
water seven.
You're right.
We already have electrical.
And that's our electrical and sewer area.
Well, now it's our electrical.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, as of, well, they're working on it.
Okay.
With that being said, our current estimated construction cost is $1.8 million, and a very conservative construction estimate would put it at about a $2 million project. We're expecting it to be, at 1.8, maybe a little bit less. This would provide the city of Gardner with the lift station that will be able to handle today's flows and future expansion of the city in that direction. With the glass fused tank, this site would be then similar to what we have at the north lift station and the east lift station setup. Flow meters, there currently are none built into the existing system out there, so a lot of the flows are measured off of pump run times. So this would give us more accurate data, as well as being able to then project what we need in the future.
If we needed to get a new jib crane, is that going to be a separate project?
No, that's included in the project. It's just whether or not we need it or not. We're working on that.
Okay.
So the cost would go down if we didn't need it?
Correct.
Okay. So I just want to get my head straight. Sorry, did you have? So my concerns would be if we're building big enough for future growth. So we want to grow on the other side of I-35.
Correct.
But we're putting this lift station in to cover what we have right now. Is there a possibility that we can get?
We are looking at putting in 2 pumps instead of, right now, we have no reliability, or there is no backup if that one pump goes down. Right now, that big wet well pump goes down, we're basically
Right, I guess
dead in water.
I get the we're covering CYA, but can we go bigger right now for a little bit more money to cover future growth instead of covering CYA right now just for what we have?
And we will be looking at that in the design process, but then that's one reason why it's suggested at a 1 million gallon tank instead of 250,000 gallon tank that's at the east lift station.
Like 250, maximum flows going to that plant. I mean, I've seen a lot. Normal flows to south lift station, you're looking at about 200,000 a day is pretty much an average flow. I've got data. We've ran well over 1 million gallons through that station. So I took their estimate of 250 to 350,000, and I bumped it to $1 million.
Okay.
Because the whole point with the million is if we do get Tuscan Farms and they do build out 300 homes,
Right.
that will take that excess flow to that station. The whole thing with I&I, as you guys know, it's not in there very long.
Right.
You know, so we get that excessive flow, it's 98.9% water. That's why we went ahead and put a dome on the top, so eventually you won't have no odor, none of that. And that tank is sized for future development. I mean, unless they go crazy. I mean, if you put a housing development over there with, 400 or 500 homes, that's a little different. But the whole purpose of that is, with that lift station is, if we decide to, the city of Gardner starts to grow, and we start to grow on the south-hand side of 35, we can actually take that current lift station and that fuse tank and actually put a plant on the south end of town and not have to upgrade Kill Creek Square. So
Okay.
that's kind of our thinking is, if we put a plant down south, and we've got a plant as far north as we can go basically right now, that will offset that growth spurt.
And follow up on that. Sorry. So is there a difference between, say, we put 100 homes out there, or 5 Walmarts, or what am I trying to say?
Stores,
What?
big box stores.
Yeah, big box stores, or we put homes. Is there any difference in that?
So depending on how you look at it, I just kind of did some numbers quick while ago. I had some handouts, but my computer decided to update right in the middle of them, so old school wrote them down.
Hey, sorry, Scott. You're Scott, right?
Yes, I am.
Can you come up here so we can
Yeah.
get? Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. So just jotting this stuff down, with the homes that we've got now, you're figuring at 330 gallons per household. Breaking that down, you're looking at about 9,900 gallons a day, 792,000 gallons a month. And that's with the 80 homes, you're looking at 26,400 gallons a day. 300 homes, you're looking at about 100,000. So that storage tank with what we got now would be more than adequate, and you could actually double that, and it'd still be more than adequate to handle the flows of what we got.
All right, that's
So,
what.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
You bet.
Yes, sir.
Is there any overlap between the I&I study that we approved last month with this? Is there any feedback between the two? Like any results of that study that would affect this, or?
Yes, in the fact that in that inspection period where they'll be doing the camera and they'll be doing all those flow monitoring, we'll get a good idea of what's going to that station. In reality, what could happen is that we decide to go with a smaller tank based on,
Scott's not gonna let that happen.
correct. That would be the most likely thing that would occur, is that we'd actually find out that we could get by with a smaller tank. And then that leads back to, if we're doing the I&I and we're reducing those flows, then this 1 million gallon tank is going to be even
Bigger, yeah, more
larger and
substantial.
more substantial and holding future development in that area. No matter if it's more homes or big box stores or warehouses.
Okay. Anything else? Entertain a motion?
Motion to approve a recommendation to the city council to authorize the city administrator to execute a contract with the Larkin Lamp Reinerson and in the amount not to exceed $141,750 for the South Lift Station Storage Tank Construction Project, CIP project number WW1809.
Second.
Go ahead. Dwayne.
Motion Krevins, second Waldman. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. New business item number 2. Welcome back, Hans.
This project is for the Hillsdale Water Treatment Facility. Currently, the clear well transfer pumps consist of 3 15 horsepower Fairbanks Morse pumps operated 2 duty and 1 on standby. Those pumps were installed in 1998, and during the 2015 water utility assessment, it was identified that these pumps will be 20 years old and there's a need to rebuild the pumps. DXP Supercenter is a single source distributor of Fairbanks and Morse, and they have done a lot of work for Hillsdale and also Kill Creek. We look at the option of buying a new pump. A new pump is about around $30,000. So to rebuild a pump will be about $18,000. So for the 3 pumps, we're talking about $55,008 plus taxes, insurance. So it's our recommendation to go with DXP Supercenter to rebuild the 3 clear well transfer pumps. There is a picture of the Hillsdale Water Treatment Facility. There are 2 tanks. The small one is your chlorine contact basin. So the clear well transfer pumps, which are shown on your lower right, those are the 3 pumps. They send the water after the filters. They send the treated water after the filters to the smaller tank that is shown on the picture. As you can see, they're pretty old and we have not done any overhauls over 20 years. So it's a reliability and to make sure that we can produce water on a continuous basis.
Is this our main source of water, the Hillsdale?
Yep.
And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but for future growth, what are we doing to maintain this bigger? Or that came
In
out
the
way
water
wrong.
master plan, there is a recommendation to put a interconnection with Water One, do a 1 million gallon day connection that can go up to 2 million if needed. That will cover our demand for the next 7 to 8 years.
7 to say again?
7 to 8
7 to
years.
8.
So we're talking about 2023, 2024, we need to expand the Hillsdale facility to a 6 million gallon day facility.
And so these, sorry, I'll be done here.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
The pump right now, hold on, I'm reading real quick. What are we doing? This is a pump, right?
You have 3 pumps that transfer the
3
treated
pumps.
water to your chlorine
So if
contact
we-
basin.
If we approve these 3 pumps, are these 3 pumps gonna make it to that million?
No, because the Water One interconnection is gonna, it'll be a connection east of, by Walmart. So the water will come from Water One straight into the city. So it doesn't go through Hillsdale.
Oh, okay.
So there's no relation.
So this is gonna maintain
The 4
current-
million gallons day we have right now.
Say it one more time.
4
sorry.
million gallon day
4 million
treatment
gallons a day.
of water.
We have currently,
Correct.
and then we're gonna get 1 million gallons.
So we'll have 5
Okay, and that will cover.
for that 7 to 8 years. Then we need to more than likely build a new facility next to Hillsdale.
So, all right. Yeah, go ahead. I'll
Could
refine my
yeah,
question.
Well, in terms of going to the expansion, could the rebuilt motors be utilized in a $6 million or in a 6 million gallon per day capacity, or would it be one of these where if we do decide to push up to the 6 million gallon per day capacity, are we going to need new motors or new pumps for them?
More likely be a separate treatment facility.
I'll answer that question. Those pumps are basically sized. You've got a head, you've got a specific head that you've got to meet.
Okay.
And the same thing with the wastewater is for the water. Depending on the length that you're pumping, there's a certain pump curve that you have to go by. So depending on that pump curve and how much elevation you have to pump, that's how those motors are sized. So with the Fairbanks Morse, because I'm going through the same thing in the wastewater treatment, basically I've got Fairbanks submersible pumps, a little different than these because mine are actually in submersible pumps. The thing with Fairbanks is if you buy new pumps, or you buy rebuild pumps, you still get a 5-year warranty. Same. So whether you buy new or you rebuild, typically your rebuild's gonna be a half of what your new pump's gonna cost. So when you rebuild these pumps, they're gonna take you to the next, let's just say 20 years if you're not gonna expand the plant, which we are. But when we expand, yes, those pumps, they might be able to use in another facet, but for that, you won't be able to use them in their current situation. Because you're gonna have more water lines, you're gonna have a different head pressure that they're gonna have to pump. So that's how that all works.
So it would
Each pump is specific to the head pressure that it's pushing. So you can't take a 400 horsepower pump and swap it out with a 600 horsepower pump because it doesn't work. I wish it did,
Yeah.
but it doesn't. It's just not the way that's not the way
Maybe off the curve.
I understand, yeah.
So if we did, and bear with me here, Scott, but if we did a 6 million, if we bought a 6 million gallon pump right now, could we downsize it to 4 million and then expand off of that? No? Okay.
Nope.
No.
No. Unfortunately, it don't work that way. I wish it did.
No, I'm just asking to
Well,
get the.
yeah, that's why I think
Right.
you were going, so.
Yeah. I was with you. I was just waiting for you to chime in.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm getting predictable.
Records, you know. All right.
So we'd be going to 5 million gallons a day with the tie-in, and the upgrade would only take us to 6 million gallons. Would we at that point?
No.
Or this would be
After
a brand new
the-
6 million gallon in addition.
Once we have the 1 million gallon day tie with water one, we don't need any more water until 7-8 years down the road.
Right.
At that point, the master plan is calling to construct a brand new facility for 6 million gallons.
And it would run in parallel to our existing.
Yeah.
Now, eventually, the idea is to use Hillsdale until it dies completely. So we need to, because the plant was expanded in 2008, it was built in 1998, it was expanded 2008. So you cannot expand the facility anymore. There's no room there. So the idea is to, yes, operate the plant to the point that we cannot operate the plant and have something in place that will pick up the slack.
But that one's already going to be out, I mean, it's going to be out of capacity within another 5 years after that, wouldn't it?
I was saying, before we reach the 6 million gallon capacity, the plan is to build
Yeah.
another facility.
Okay.
When's our bulk water contract run out, do you know?
With,
Was that a 20-year contract?
that's a 20-year.
Okay.
Now, what we're doing in order to minimize the water usage, right now we have some oil fields that use potable water for the drilling. So what we're talking with them is to see if we can sell them effluent from Kill Creek for that type of service.
They use potable water for that?
They're using potable water. It's about a couple $1 million a year,
So we just want to sell them, try to get them to go to.
gray water or effluent. And they're, so far, Scott, he had a conversation with them, and they were receptive. So there's some investment we have to do to provide that water to them. But we're looking at other ways of try to minimize any other excessive usage of potable water. And maybe that can extend in not 7 years, maybe 10 years. I don't know. But that's the idea.
So where would the new, outside the box, where would the new 6 million treatment plant be? Right beside it,
Maybe
or?
probably next to the existing
You
facility.
see where the tree line is there?
Yes, sir.
So basically, it would be on the left side of the tree line there. And then
Okay.
we could use components of the existing building.
Okay, there's trees all around it, so let's do the ponds.
The top north.
So it'd be the upper left-hand side of the picture.
Okay.
So the upper left-hand side of the picture, there, we would put in a 6 million gallon plant that is expandable to 8 million. That would
Okay.
cover us for the next, I think it was
2040.
2040, yes. And then what we could do is use some components of the existing facility where we already have the chemicals that are treated already stored in the facility and protected, and all those standards are met, so that would help reduce the
Offset the
cost
cost,
there,
yeah.
but we would have to add some piping to get it to that new plant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just to let you guys know about those pumps. Fairbanks, typically a submersible pump or a pump of that size generally has a life capacity of 10 to 15 years. Typically, we'll put in upper and lower seals in those, so they have been maintained. But the wear rings, the impellers, the flutes, they just, 20 years old, they just get worn out. They're constantly pumping, so they're abrasive, water, even though it's water, it's still abrasive. So that's actually, it's more than reached its useful
Right.
expected life.
Yeah.
So 20 years, if you can get 20 years out of pumps, that's pretty doggone good.
Yes, sir. I concur.
Entertain a motion?
Can I say so?
I'll make a motion to approve a recommendation of city council to authorize the city administrator to execute a service contract with DXP Super Center in the amount of $55,008 plus taxes, insurance, and shipping to remove, rebuild, reinstall 3 Clearwater transfer pumps for CIP project number WA1801.
Second.
Motion Waldman, second Barney. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Project updates.
Electric. We finally terminated the cables at the CVS project. The cables were, actually, all the work was done almost 6 months ago, and we were waiting for the retaining wall on the north end of CVS. So we finally made the terminations, I think last week or the week before. So electrically, they're ready to go. Sewer, water also. Last week, we had a break on the sanitary sewer north of I-35. And the location of the break was near or on top or was below the electric distribution pole and a cabinet. So the electricians, the linemen had to go remove the pole from what it was and relocate the fuse cabinet, so line maintenance can do the repair. That took about 2-3 days to complete.
It's like a fun one.
And it was, as you can see, it was a big mess. Generation. I have not presented this in the past, but what I want to share with you is the energy usage for the past 3 years, 2015, 2016, and 2017. And it's by month. And you will see that except for a few months in 2017, like July, we had a peak that was greater than the previous years. It has been fairly consistent. If we look at the 10-year energy we have purchased from KMEA or the SPP, Southwest Power Pool, you will see that the demand, which is orange or copper color, there is a steady increase, while the actual cost for the energy, it had a lot of variability between 2010 and 2013, and then it's kind of pretty stable between 2014 and 2017.
That's market purchase?
There's a market purchase. Then if we look at the monthly energy cost, except for 2016 November, that's an outlier actually, the prices per kilowatt hour is between 5.5 cents to maybe 45 cents per kilowatt hour. And with Dogwood, I'm expecting to see even a lower price for the energy. So hopefully the average is about 51 cents per kilowatt, no 51, 5 cents, 5.1 cents per kilowatt hour. With Dogwood, we should be looking about 45, even less than 40. And the generation, just to show you the different resources we have for the power we buy from the system. OPPD is about 37.6 of the total generation. GRDA is 45.1. SPP, which is the actually integrated market or real time, is only 4%. Marshall, which is the wind, we signed a PPA in 2016, is only 7.3%. EMP1 and KCPNL is only 4.5%. And WAPA, which is hydro, is 1.55%. If you may recall, OPPD will be, the PPA is expiring this year, December 31st. At that point, we'll have Dogwood that will pick up that energy. Any questions?
What do
I know
we-
this is the first time I presented this, so
Yeah.
I like it.
I like it.
I like it.
What do we expect the graph to look like then when Dogwood picks up? I mean, the GRDA probably
just
getting
gonna
bigger.
GRDA will remain the same. OPPD will be replaced by Dogwood.
Yeah, it's just gonna take it over.
But
We
the
don't- we
price,
wasn't expecting the other pieces to get bigger. I mean, I thought. Dogwood-
maybe, not with Dogwood, they can generate a megawatt hour or kilowatt hour for about 2 cents, 2.8 cents per kilowatt hour.
Mhm.
OPPD is about 3.8 cents. So if we replace OPPD with Dogwood, it should be in the range of 2.5 to maybe 3.0 cents. So the energy will be replaced by Dogwood. The price will be a lot less. Unless we can buy even cheaper energy from the market at less than 2.5 cents per kilowatt hour. If that's the case, then your SPP will increase, but the rate will be even lower. Right now, the real time or the market price for 1 kilowatt hour is about anywhere between 2.2 cents to 1.7 cents, or $17 to $25 per megawatt hour.
So, does Dogwood run then? Dogwood's not running, we just be buying off the market.
They run,
now,
they have a
there's a-
capacity of 35%, which means that there is cheaper energy than Dogwood. So if Dogwood is, let's say, $25 per megawatt hour or 2.5 cents per kilowatt hour, you can, if the market is greater than 2.5 cents, then Dogwood will run to provide the energy. If it's less, then we can buy it from the market at a lower cost. That's something we cannot do right now with OPPD or GRDA. Any other questions? Line maintenance, again, this was actually a wastewater collection problem. Same picture. And then we had a water main split on the south northwest of the airport. It was on a weekend. It was temperature were, I think, below 10 degrees, I think. So they went in, they made a temporary repair, and then 2 days later, we shut down St. John's, and we went ahead and put a permanent fix.
I'm curious, did our wastewater usage go up during that frozen? My sump pump froze up, so I'm just curious if that actually increased the wastewater from.
We didn't see any.
Some pumps.
We didn't see any flow at the plant. We did we had a lot of breakdowns, if you will, with the cold weather.
Yeah.
We had a couple pipes and stuff froze up. Some of the headworks buildings, step screens froze up. As far as increase in flow, no.
No.
This is a Keel Creek water resource recovery facility. We did some repairs at that's the digester, no, that's the oxidation ditch. The baffle was loose, so they went ahead and did some repairs. Anything you'd like to add, Scott, since you're here?
Actually, there's actually 4 baffles sitting in that oxidation ditch. They're about 20, they're right at 20, 22 foot long. What happens is the bolts, there's a plate that's bolted to the concrete. The baffle, what happens, there's a rotor that actually generates dissolved oxygen in there. Goes through a nitrification and denitrification process. That baffles actually to keep the wave action from going through there and coming over the end of the oxidation ditch. What happened is those bolts have worked their way out over time. We had to pump the ditch down about 4 foot and put it on the other side, and we actually went back in and put stainless steel self-locking nuts, and then we actually welded the ends of them and gnarled them up so they would come out. So,
There you go.
It was a bad deal, and trust me, you didn't want no part of that, and it was nasty, but it's
Yeah.
done.
He had me at self-locking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not a good deal. And it was cold. I think it was, I don't know, it was in the teens we were doing that, so. It's nothing like welding an aluminum boat on the water.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Fantastic. So.
And that's all the project updates.
Anything else?
I know we do this every year, but people online complaining about their bills, can you give a website or clarification on why? I mean, I've heard everything from their bill went up $200, their wastewater went up $100. I mean, it's
Estimation thing again.
yeah, and I'm not saying it's not confusing, but people aren't informed or don't care enough to go research it. But can we give them a spot to go research it?
There is were you here when Amy came and did the?
That was
Yeah.
2 years ago, yeah.
Yes, that presentation, the slides are online. To me, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense without Amy's commentary. So,
If there's a way that or even if she comes back to the meeting and
well, what if we can find that video?
right, well, if we can find that video, great. Or have her come back and redo it, and then we can take that snippet and post it on our website somehow so that people have a place to research it themselves.
I'm not sure Amy wants a video of her on the website. But we could,
It's not on the website if she's standing right there. It's her voice.
no, I know, but how many people do you think are going to come?
If it's on the website, I think it's valid to have a spot where people can research it if they want.
Did we put some in the newsletter a couple years ago just to clarify with people kind of how it worked? I thought
No,
there was
but we can do
something-
we can put it in the newsletter or send it with the wastewater monthly bills.
I mean, I know it's probably not the best place to get complaints from, but it just seems like every
Billing cycle?
every cycle, yeah, every billing cycle, not every year. It's every month people complain about it. And I mean,
Well, it's not so common in the winter, but this one just happened to be a 35-day month.
yeah.
Well, that's probably
And
why. It's-
So it was, everybody's bill was 25% higher because it had 25% more month. And I don't think people realize that. I mean, I didn't until somebody pointed it out, but
We always do in those months, and those are the months where we do the average for the sewage, based off water usages in those months, and they're always 34, 33 days long in January and February, December and January, whichever month you're in. But it's funny, those are always longest months, and those are the averaging months, and so it doesn't.
We can look
If
at
you look
that.
back in your consumption history, we always do it. I
Yeah.
don't understand why. Let's use February from now on.
But let me talk with utility billing, see if we can put that information out.
Yeah, just-
That would be good. That's all I'm
Open.
asking for. It's just
Okay.
just a spot where, and then tell us where it's at so we can tell other people. Maybe
Okay.
Ryan, because he's the admin.
I notice a lot of people don't realize that we have budget billing as well. So, just a general statement, some people don't know that we even have a budget billing program. And, I mean, I
Okay,
think some of these people
consider-
just aren't going to the website and looking, but
Yeah, we'll try to put some information regarding that point.
I mean, the slides that are posted are a good start, I think. It's just without Amy's commentary, some of the slides just are some bullet points that don't have any connection to anything.
Maybe we can
Alan can do a
review the slide
voiceover
presentation
of it.
and maybe we can edit it, make it more easy to understand.
There you go. I like Dwayne. You can do a voiceover of Amy's slides.
Okay.
Dwayne's gonna hand deliver every bill and explain it to
If you have a
Okay.
problem with your
Hey.
bill, talk to Dwayne.
Okay.
Maintain your toilets.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved. Or second.
Motion Crevin, second Barney to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
No, but everyone wants to go. Yeah, right.
Thanks, guys.
Oh,
Thanks.
hey. You know, I haven't seen the kids tonight yell. I'll tell this because I heard that.